Just get that off the screen real quick so I can see comments. Perfect. All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome, I'm Kelley. I'm the plant-based kitchenista if you haven't met me before. So we do these classes about every 2 weeks. I will go ahead and get the March classes up. We were supposed to get some ceiling work here done in the kitchen, basically kitchen, living room, and everything else. And they were said, oh, it's going to be like the 1st of March. So I was kind of waiting for dates from the construction crews and stuff before I actually put the classes on. But just like all construction things, fix it things and stuff we haven't heard. So we'll go ahead and get the classes on. And if I have to move some things the 1st of March and stuff, we'll do that. So I'll play with some dates and get those up there here the next couple of days. But we do all all whole foods and plant-based. And so when we actually cook and stuff, we're always going to do vegetable broth, vegetable stock, water, or white wine. And white wine's usually in like tomato sauces. So I would say I use probably vegetable stock or water most all the time that you see it, or even vegetable broth. So what I'll do before we get started, so there's 2 recipes. We're going to do Veggie Benedicts, which is really popular. This is going to be our dinner, which is really nice. So it's dinner time here. So we're going to have basically breakfast or like brunch for dinner. And then we're going to do a spicy fruit bowl. And this fruit bowl and stuff, we've made it a lot. And when we did an event in Taos, it was like a yoga event and all kinds of relaxation stuff. We did the spicy fruit bowl almost like every day, but we would mix it up with different fruit. And then one time, I think at the very end, we had some really kind of like spicy burritos. And so we actually threw like coconut in there, so shaved coconut. So you can add all kinds of different flavors to it, make it a little bit sweet, make it a little bit spicy, make it a little bit more lime. And it just brings that like, really good flavor and kind of like, they always got umami and stuff, but just the spark and stuff to the fruit. So this is one of my favorite because even though you think it's going to be really spicy, you've got that sweetness of the fruit, a little bit of the sugar, a little bit of the spice. It's just really, really good. So we'll show you how to make that. And it's a really pretty dish. You can do it, summertime, wintertime, whenever you like. So we'll get started with that. But the Veggie Benedicts is another one that when we make the actual Benedict sauce, it's one of those ones that you could double, triple the recipe, put it into a mason jar with like a plastic lid on it and keep it in your fridge and put it on baked potatoes and put it on asparagus and put it on, just all kinds of different things. So it's a really good one to use. So I'll get Jerry to introduce himself and I'm going to turn up the burner just a little bit there. I steamed the asparagus last night just so it's ready. So I'm just going to put it in just enough to heat it up. But let me get the mic.
Okay, welcome everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Jerry Casados, a plant-based nutritionist. And we've been plant-based now, going anniversary month, 16 years. Been plant-based, amazing.
I started at 12.
Yeah. And I did it for health reasons, my own, heard my story, for heart disease, 3 blood pressure meds, cholesterol med. Heart disease was developing, arteries were getting a little clogged up, so we went plant-based and everything's better, no medications, healthy. And went to Dr. John McDougall's 10-day living programs to get well, and now I teach his program. So that's kind of his philosophy. I teach the START solution. So, but now we're just trying to enjoy the food here. We had a little breakfast today, so I'll get to have that. But I'll just eat and watch.
So break inner or something. I don't know. How do we break inner, brunch inner? I don't know what we want to call it. I don't know what he's talking about. We'll just keep going. All right. So Veggie Benedicts, like I said, so we're going to make that. Veggie Benedicts are, you can think about different things that you can layer. So we're going to do tomatoes. We're going to do avocado because avocado gives you that really nice creaminess. You also could do a baked, like a baked slice piece of tofu if you wanted to, or put the tofu, like maybe flavor it up differently. And then you could also, and then we'll have asparagus, but you could actually do like zucchini or, all kinds of different things. So you could make a whole bunch of vegetables on the Benedicts too. So always think about that. It's, you've got the kind of the, I guess the cult, not the cult, but the prime way and stuff to do things like the basics. But always think about that, once you have the sauces and the kind of the basics down, start adding things to it. So think. it's the water going for the asparagus. Oh, can you hear me now? Okay. Okay, good. You're back. Okay. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna make, so we've got, like I said, I've got the water going for the Veggie Benedicts and the asparagus. I actually a little bit earlier because I wanted to make the spicy sauce that goes on the fruit bowl. So I got it started because I wanted it to cool down, because if you put it on hot on the fruit, of course, not a good thing. So we've got raw cane sugar in here. You could actually substitute out, you could do like the monk fruit sweetener if you wanted to. And then, just whatever flavors you want to do, you could put a little bit of date paste in with the water, and then you just let it boil just a little bit. And then you put a jalapeno in there. So, just probably like a small size jalapeno, you can cut it in half. If you want it real spicy, put both pieces in there. Keep the pieces whole because you're going to want to pull it out. So you're letting it kind of boil for probably your simmer for about 10 minutes. And then it gets this kind of a nice, you'll see kind of it's almost like a light tea color. And so it's ready. And if you smell it, it's sweet, but it also has a little bit of that tinge of jalapeno. So I would say if you want it just a little bit spicy, maybe 5 minutes, and then pull the jalapeno out and then let it set. If you want it really spicy, then I would say you're 10 to 15 minutes and then let it set. So it's been cooling down because it's been sitting on the stove here for probably about 30 minutes. It's missing the what's in the saucepan. So it's right now it's water. It has raw cane sugar, and then it had a jalapeno in it. So the half a jalapeno, I just put it in there and I let it simmer. So what I'm making is like a simple syrup, but a spicy simple syrup. So simple syrups are used a lot of times in sweetening teas or, different types of desserts that you're making. So I just made that. This is what's going to go. And like I said, it's a nice, really kind of a tea color. This is what's going to go over the fruit. So I haven't put the lime in it yet, but I'll put the lime in just a little bit here. And then this is what we're going to drizzle on the fruit once we make it all up. But these are great. Like I said, if you're making, you want to make sweet teas, simple syrup is just water and sugar, and you just let it simmer, and then it just turns into a nice sugar water, and then you can add that to sweet teas, which is really good. So I'm just going to set that there because we're going to get that here in just a minute. All right, so to make the actual Veggie Benedict sauce, we've got, so we're doing a cashew base. If you don't want to do a cashew base, you can substitute out tofu, so like silken tofu, or you can even actually do white beans. So like white cannellini beans or white navy beans would actually work with that too. So let's just say you're nut adverse, or you want to stay, it sounds kind of funny, nut adverse, but if you want to stay away from nuts and that type of thing, then just substitute. And if you don't like cashews, you could substitute a different nut like almonds or something, but no nuts, tofu, or you can do the beans. And that would be another thing. You may have to spice it. Tofu, you won't have to spice it up anymore. But the cannellini white beans, once you drain them and do all those kind of things and you add the water to them, you may want to add just a little bit more spice to them. So maybe like a little bit more garlic powder of that. So kind of when you're testing it, add in the spices and the turmeric and things and the nutritional yeast, and then taste a little bit and see if you need to add some more things to it. But that's two different ways you can make the sauce without having to do the nuts. But we're doing the cashews. So turn that down a little bit. This is the hollandaise sauce. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and drain out just to make sure I've got a cup of water. So I've had the cashews soaking. It says in the recipe you don't have to, and you do not have to soak the cashews. But what I did is I just went ahead, since I was making everything up last night, I just soaked them. It just, it's just a little bit easier on your blender and things like that anyway, and it makes it go faster. And especially since it was a cooking class, I thought we better just go ahead and soak them. So they've been soaking, but it looks like they soaked up a lot of the moisture because there was over a cup of water on these. So I'm just going to add, so I have some of the water ready to go. So here goes the cashews. You'll notice that this looks more than a half a cup, and the reason is because it is. So I actually doubled the recipe because I know that, like Jerry tomorrow for breakfast, he will eat the Veggie Benedicts. He'll probably eat them for lunch tomorrow. So he'll eat, we've got 6 English muffins that we're going to be using. They will be disappeared by all of them and stuff by Saturday at least. So that way he has enough of the sauce, of the hollandaise sauce. Let me just dump those in there. And those are just regular raw cashews. So you can get them in bulk at, like all your natural grocers type of stores. And then I just, like I said, I just soaked them, put them in water. You could put them, if you wanted to make it even a little more tastier, you could actually soak them in vegetable broth or vegetable stock, but water works just as great. So we're going to do this. We're just going to put the water in, get it going. Sometimes what I always do when I'm always doing the cashews, because you never know, like I was talking about these, they really soaked up the moisture. So I always kind of keep a little bit extra of like water and stuff on the side. So if I notice, hold on, it's going up better. Let me add some more water here in a second. But what I always do is I always keep water off to the side. So if the blender starts getting where it's not churning and stuff, you can add just a little bit of water to it. Okay, so here goes a little bit of noise. Just making sure it gets really creamy. As I'm yelling. All right, I need to add some water to the, looks like it burned most of it off. So I get the asparagus just warmed. Do one more. There we go. All right. So we have this really nice creamy sauce. So I'll show it to you first before I do the rest of the steps. So it's really interesting because, you always have it. And I always love to see what food does and stuff. When you grind up the cashews, which are really kind of like more of the yellow beige color, when you actually grind them up, look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Just this nice, almost like a cream sauce that it looks like. And you would think it'd be like a little bit more yellow, which we are going to turn it yellow because it's holidays and stuff, but the actual look and feel is beautiful. Okay, so if you're following along on the recipes, and they're always on the site that you can download, so you get copies to all the recipes, then we're going to add, so we're going to pour it into a saucepan. So I have a saucepan back here. Get the, and you can always, taste it. It tastes just like a kind of like a creamy cashew, not much to it. And you can, if you've got a Vitamix or a Blendtec, you could actually just keep mixing everything up in your Vitamix or Blendtec. And like they always talk about, they're always shown on the shows and stuff that you can make soups because it actually will start generating heat. So you could just leave everything if you wanted to in your Vitamix or Blendtec and not have to put it in a saucepan and add all the rest of the ingredients and then just keep it going and stuff until it warms up. So you could do that too. No need to dirty other dishes is what I always say. But for the class, so you can actually see it, I'm going to put it into a saucepan. Get it all out. A little bit of water. All right, so nice, creamy. It almost looks like what I wanted to say, Cool Whip or something like that. It's so pretty. The color's beautiful. Okay, so the other ingredients that you're going to add, so you've got lemon juice because you want that acid. And I always talk about when you do my recipes, if you're new to my classes, when I do the recipes, when I actually say, like, if I say something like a quarter of a teaspoon of onion powder, I always recommend to go low on spices because everybody's got a different palate. So everybody has, some people don't like as much onion, some people like more garlic, all those things. So go low on my spices. So if I say like a quarter teaspoon, go with 1/8 of a teaspoon and then taste it and then keep adding more and then mark on your recipes what you like. That way and stuff, because what I don't want you to do is add all the spices and you're like, ooh, nah, too spicy, too this, and you end up throwing away because that is not what we want to do. And I think most recipes that you'll see out there, even in a lot of cookbooks, is things are overspiced. And I think a lot of us, they think that, that the vegetables and things like that, that you need to have all these spices on them for the taste good. but I think the purity of the vegetables is really what shines through. And just adding a little bit of spices enhances it, but not overpowers it. Nothing should ever overpower all the, the fruits and vegetables and the beans and legumes and everything else that we're eating. So that's why I always say start low, add, because you can't subtract out after you've already dumped everything in. All right, so we got lemon juice, nutritional yeast. So nutritional yeast, we did a class over the weekend, and the way we explain it is that it looks like fish flakes. So hopefully everybody knows what nutritional yeast is, but it's what we use, and it's what we use and stuff to give the flavor of cheese. So when we make like a ricotta, like using tofu and all that for lasagnas, we use the nutritional yeast. I tend to, if somebody, like if I'm trying a different recipe or something, and somebody says, oh, order, just do a half a cup or a couple tablespoons and you'll get the flavor. I tend to go overboard on the nutritional yeast. And I think that's something you need to try, because I like the way that, like when you're making the ricotta, I put almost, for like a lasagna that's probably in a 9x12 pan, I will actually put almost a cup of the nutritional yeast, because then it gets it really creamy and the flavor and the nuttiness and stuff and a cheesy flavor. And when I take it places, nobody knows that it's plant-based. They're like, this is the best lasagna I've ever had. And they just think it's ricotta, like regular cheese or cottage cheese or whatever else that you put in it. So I tend to, like I said, go a little bit more on the nutritional yeast. You can get it, Bragg's sells it in all the regular grocery stores. So you can find it like where they do kind of like the specialty ketchups and all those things. You can get it. You can get it at all, like pretty much your Whole Foods in bulk. But I usually buy it in not natural grocers. Yeah, natural grocers is where I get it. And they usually have it over where like all the vitamins and things are, and they put them in these big packs. And then I just fill up like a mason jar and stuff and keep it in the pantry. I started buying non-fortified, seems to have a milder flavor to me. Yeah, see, I like the cheesiness of it. I will take this and put this on air pop popcorn. So when you do it, like even the microwave popcorn that doesn't have any oil, I will put sprinkle nutritional yeast on it, a little bit of salt and pepper. And that's probably one of our favorite things and stuff to do is Saturday night, watch a movie and nutritional yeast on popcorn. So, but yeah, I think there's different flavors. And some people have actually said that they've been buying some nutritional yeast here lately that she said she bought it and it was almost like a white, and it didn't have any like flavor or the smell or anything like that. So I think there's different brands out there. Bragg's is good if you can find that in the jars. And then if you get in like any of the Whole Food stores, nutritional yeast is great. So it's one of those things you can keep on the shelf for a long time. All right, so then we've got onion powder, garlic powder, just a teeny little pinch of sea salt, and then turmeric. So that's all mixed in here together. So the turmeric, of course, is going to add that yellowness. So let me get a whisk. You spray your popcorn with amino acids before the yeast to get it to stick. No, I never have done that. Jerry's always like amino acids and things. He tends to thinks they're too salty. And so what he does, I put very, very little salt. And then I just take when the popcorn comes right out, I put half the popcorn in a bowl and I sprinkle it with nutritional yeast and usually just the black pepper, the crushed black pepper. And then I'll put the rest of the popcorn on, and then I'll sprinkle a little bit more nutritional yeast, just a little bit of salt and the black pepper. And then it's really good. And the good thing about it too, is if you like the salt at the bottom, you always have the bottom too. So you can always kind of take your popcorn and dip it in there too. Amino acids. It doesn't really stick, but because popcorn, it has like all those little crevices and things, it actually, as long as you kind of like put it on the midway through and then you put it on the top, then it gets into the little crevices because it's really fine, and then it sticks in the popcorn. So when you take a bite of the popcorn, even through halfway through, you'll get that flavor of nutritional yeast without spraying anything on. I have seen some people take like little spray bottles of like mist of water, but you could do like what Mona was asking, can you do the with amino acids or something like that? You can do that too. So there's ways to do it. I just do hot, popcorn halfway through, put it on there, put the rest on, put the nutritional yeast, and then the little bit of salt, sea salt and stuff, and the black pepper, and it's great. It meets my needs for what I like as far as like the, a little bit of the salt and things, and it meets Jerry's need because he doesn't think it's too salty. So, all right, let me just stir this up a little bit so we can get everything mixed in. I know this is hot, so I'm just going to put the sprigs of asparagus in there for just a minute or two, just enough to get them warm. So if you want, so this is not a really dark, with the turmeric and stuff that's on the recipe, is not a really dark looking like hollandaise sauce, because a lot of times and stuff when you get them, they can be really, really orange. So, if you want to add a little bit more, we'll just add a little bit more turmeric. Watch your turmeric. If you get it on stuff, towels, etc., it stains everything. So I'll just add a little bit more. It's still not going to get it really dark, but enough just where it kind of like gets a little bit less of the beige. There we go. That's a really pretty color now. And see how thick it is? Without even doing anything to it. So on this, it says the cornstarch, that you're going to add cornstarch to it. I think it depends, and this is what I always say on this recipe. It depends on how, like if you added too much water to your cashews, or they tend to have, like they had a lot of water they were holding, and then your sauce is not really thick, then I would add the cornstarch. If it's more like what I've got here, so this really nice thick sauce, I'm not going to add the cornstarch. I don't need it. So I'm actually going to leave it out. So it's one of those things on the recipe, play with and see if you need the cornstarch or not. And you can always substitute, this is a cornstarch non-GMO. You've got that because it's all non-GMO that they sell now. You can get the cheaper ones that aren't, but then you could use like tapioca flour. You could use potato flour, any of those that you want to do. But I'm thinking, look at that sauce. If I added cornstarch to it, it's going to glump it up. So I'm not going to do that. And then if you're going to do the cornstarch, I was going to add the water to it because it's one of those things that, everybody has the mom and stuff that was always made the roux for the gravy. And so they would, do this, they do it in the big jars. They do like cornstarch or flour and water, and they'd shake it all up, and then they'd put it in the pan, and they'd start adding everything into it to make the gravies. So same thing I would do with the cornstarch, because if you add cornstarch right into a lot of ingredients, especially if they're cold, you're easier. But if it's hot, you get those clumps, and that's what you don't want. But this is such a pretty consistency. No cornstarch. All right, so let's get this heated up just a little bit. This is my sauce for the fruit. I'm going to turn it really low. That's off. All right, so my fruit bowl. I love fruit. I mean, especially like in the summers and stuff. And you always think about fruit bowls in the summer, but I love fruit bowls like in the winter and stuff. When Jerry went shopping, he did a very good job on buying all the fruit. And then like I cut up a lot of the grapes, and they were really big, huge grapes. And then the other half of the grapes and stuff we ate last night. And so it's one of those things that once you get fruit around and you have it in the fridge, it's just wonderful to eat. So I've got different fruit that we're going to be making. So I have pineapple. And I think I might need a bigger bowl. Yeah, let me get a bigger bowl. So I might be overloaded here. So this is one whole pineapple. I just did it in just little bite-sized pieces. And this is up to you. Whatever fruit you want, whatever I guess they would say float your boat, what you want to do. Jerry bought the purple grapes, but they're really pretty, big grapes, but they have that green interior, which is really nice. So you're adding all those the different colors. When we made this in Taos, we had, I don't know, there was about 15, 20 people there, I think, that were doing the yoga retreat and everything. We would make a bowl that was probably this big every single morning, whatever we're making. We made Veggie Benedicts one morning. We've made burritos and everything, but we always had this fruit bowl. Gone, always gone. And then I would find that I would see people that were taking cups, little plastic cups and stuff, to say that later when they have the one to snack with granola or something, they were taking the fruit. Strawberries. Strawberries are really good right now in the store. Sometimes, a lot of times in the winter, you'll get them and they're really tart. For some reason, I don't know why, they're really sweet right now. At least here. Kiwi, because it's pretty. And we had made for Jerry's birthday, and you can wish him all a happy birthday. It was in the 1st of February, but he wanted a plant-based vegan cheesecake. So I made him a cheesecake, and we had We had blueberries, kiwi, strawberries, and a couple other things. So we had some left over. So it comes in the fruit salad. Blueberries. Is everybody wishing you a happy birthday? There's blueberries. Then you could do raspberries. You can do, there's all kinds of things out there. Whatever's your favorite fruit. Then I've got the lime. Give that a nice little stir. And if your hollandaise sauce starts thickening up a little bit, water. Just add a little bit of water or just stir it in and you'll be fine. Yes, I do. I can send you. It's a very, 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 very simple recipe to do. So can you email me so I can remember? So it's Kelley, Kelley at plantbasedkitchen.com, and I will send it to you because it's like I said, super easy. And I actually made it because you can make it like in the regular pie and then keep the little pieces up. But I actually made it in like the little muffin tins so that you'd have little individual ones, which are really good too. So okay, so I'm going to add the lime juice to. This is the simple syrup, so the sugar, water, and the jalapeno flavoring. So I'm just going to add some lime to it. And I already got a little bit of the peel in there too. So we've got the lime. So if I was going to taste it, give you what a flavor profile of the actual stuff before we put it on the fruit. It's like sweet lime. So it almost reminds me a little bit of a really light flavored limeade. And then it has just a little bit of and it's like there's no heat because I took the seeds out, but you've got a little bit of that jalapeno flavor, but not hot at all. So that's really good. And I let the jalapeno, one small one, simmer in there for about 10 minutes, but really just a great flavor. All right. So, before I even do anything, that's like, just give me a spoon and let me sit down and that's dinner. This is stuff we like to do on like Saturday or a Sunday night when we're watching a movie. We pick out a movie and then we'll get like a big fruit bowl like this and just sit there. And Jerry and we'll eat almost, I would say 3/4 to almost the whole thing if we don't do the popcorn. Or soy ice cream. Yeah, we'll actually do soy ice cream and we'll put fruit all over it. And sometimes I'll bake like a little cake and stuff that goes underneath. Jerry won't eat the cake, but the cake's really good with it. But then he eats all this fruit or cheesecake. Okay, so we're just going to add this in. So just pour that over. Like I said, make sure it's cool. And then we're going to just do, and this is one too. So when we were doing it in Taos and we were making this up. What we would do is we would cut up all the fruit the night before and prep everything out. And then I would come in like when we'd start breakfast at like 5 a.m. So I would and I'd have the sauce all made up too. And we'd pour it on there and just let it set. And then that way you get all that, the flavoring in the fruit and everything like that. And then by the time they get ready to eat breakfast, which was about 8 after yoga and their walks and, the nature walks and all that, it was ready to go. And then it had that really good flavors. But this is also, if you do the sauce, it's really good that you can add, like I said, you could do like shavings of coconut. You could put, you could add a little bit of like maybe some almonds or, all kinds of different things in this. Do you peel your kiwi? Yes, we did. I peeled all the kiwi just because the skin, I mean, you don't have to, but the skin and stuff, it's just, I don't know, it's a little strange when you're eating it. So I wanted it to look really good and to taste really good, not have any of the peeling. So I took of course, the stems off the strawberries and sliced up the grapes, which of course you don't have to do that either. But I just wanted everything to have like when you get a bite, and if you decide almost like if you're doing like a skewer of fruit or something like that, you can get a strawberry and a pineapple and a kiwi and blueberries and stuff. But isn't that beautiful? Even before anything else is done with it. It's like yum. I was like so excited to have this tonight. Fresh fruit. Okay, let me grab the hollandaise sauce. It smells really good. You can smell the nutritional yeast in it. All right, let's see. Hot. A little bit more. Nice flavor. You've got a little bit of the nuttiness of the cashews that's in there. And then you also have a little bit of the nuttiness and the cheese of the nutritional yeast. So good. Just kind of whip it up a little bit, and then we're going to turn that down a bit. Okay. So then we have, so these are Food for Life. These are, so English muffins, 7 grains, 7 sprouted grains. So flourless sprouted whole grain. That's even harder to say. So Food for Life. So Jerry got these at Natural Grocers. So you can pretty much find these, or you can, Amazon has them, Whole Foods has them. But they're basically sprouted whole grain. So that's what we're going to use the English muffins for our bases. You can buy, when we used to do this, and we did this at Whole Foods, they had crumpets. And we used to use those, which were really fun. And they were something that we could eat. There wasn't any, doesn't look like they're sliced. They didn't have any like flour or oil, not flour, but not had any oil, eggs, or any of those kind of things in them, which was really good. Okay, so we're gonna just slice it in half. Perfect. I'm gonna toast it, so it's gonna go over here into the toaster. Jerry's like, the toaster toast, he's like over here mumbling. The toaster toasts things really quick, so watch it. That's what he's telling me. Watch it. You can tell he doesn't like toasted toast much. Look at that, still pretty and getting warm. All right, so then I'll put that to the side. So Jerry now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more Veggie Benedicts to eat. He will probably, I'll have to make up another one and stuff after the class because he will eat both of these. Guarantee you. Probably, if he could, he'd probably eat 4 of them. All right, so we've got tomatoes. So Jerry bought some really, really thick tomatoes. So we've got nice thick tomato slices that we're going to be able to put on there. If you had the heirloom tomatoes, that's another one that's really good. If you had, and let's just say that you can't find really good types of the big tomatoes right now, and maybe they're just really hard, then feel free just to use, the little smaller tomatoes and just use more of those. I guarantee you, if you got different tomatoes on there, nobody's going to complain. I'll make sure it's nice and warm. Getting there. That's good. And then I have avocado. So I already sliced it. So we're going to do slices of avocado. Nice big avocados right now. All right, so we'll just do nice little thin slices. That off to the side. We've got the tomato that we'll have here. We also, I always show this in the classes. We have what we call an avo saver, and this is what we got. We got this off of Amazon, and this is really cool because it has, it's shaped and it's got the hole just like the avocado. So if you're not going to use the other half, go like that. You do a little wrapper around it, and you get 2 for like under $10, and it keeps your avocado and stuff from all the air getting into it. You'll get a little bit of browning on it, but it'll keep in there 2 or 3 days. So you have, you can just pull that avocado out, just scrape maybe a little bit off the top, and there you go with the rest of it. All right. I will be toasting mine more, but Jerry likes it kind of, sort of, like hot air blown on it. I'm going to add just a little bit of water because it's starting, like I said, starting to get thick. And I want to be able to drizzle it. Heat it up a little bit more. All right. So when you're making that, you're making the actual Veggie Benedicts. So if you're following along and stuff, so we got the slice. We did already the slice, the avocado, the tomato. We have the asparagus that's steamed out and ready to go. So we're going to actually put 2 to 3 slices of avocado on. So we'll go ahead and we'll just use the knife to kind of grab some. Kind of spread it out just a little bit. Cover the bottom. And I'll do the other side. There we go. Kind of even that out. All right, then we've got our tomato. You could do, 1 tomato, 2 or 3 tomatoes, whatever you would like. I'm just going to do the 1 to get it started. Then I have, the asparagus was really small, so I'm actually going to be doing quite a bit. So I'm going to put some this way and some the other way. We got half. Like I said, if you're not an asparagus fan, zucchini works. Other flavors work. You could do eggplant. That would be another one. Roast up some eggplant, like the rounds of the eggplant. So you could have like the avocado. So you could do like eggplant, avocado, tomato, asparagus. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you could that are round that you could level all the way up. So there's a lot of asparagus, which should make Jerry happy. Okay, nice. See the sauce? Turned out a really nice, pretty yellow. And it's warm. All right, so let me grab another spoon. This would be, if you have like some baked potato, like a baked potato or a couple baked potatoes, broccoli, this, you could actually do maybe some like chili on it and some maybe the cream, this cheese sauce. Okay. So I still think it's hard to make it drizzle when it's a little bit thicker. But if we were home, I would just be like, here you go. Okay, there we go. Perfect. And drizzle it off to the sides. I can hear Jerry drooling. Yeah, this could be, like I said, you could actually, if you wanted to, you could do it like a nice, like a round of tofu that's baked. So there's so many different things that you could add to this. I need a little bit more on this side. Okay, now to top it off, microgreens. So we have the broccoli microgreens, which are really fun. And they're good for you. Good for your gut. Then we have, of course, a little bit of smoked paprika. Love this stuff. This is the smoked paprika. This one is sweet smoked Spanish paprika. It smells so good. A little sprinkle. More for a little bit of smokiness, but then also a lot of it is color. Or I call it eye candy. And then if you had fresh chives, you could do that. They didn't have any fresh chives in the store, so I've got a little bit of dried chives, which I always keep on hand. Just a little bit. You could also do scallions if you wanted to for a little bit of onion flavor. And then I'm not going to add it. I'll let Jerry add it later. But the other thing that you can add is hot sauce. So you could do a little bit of drizzle of hot sauce on there. Do you want hot sauce? No. Okay. We'll do later. So put that all over the place. So we're a little early, but that's a good thing. That means we've got something that you could make really fast. So here, just making sure I'm not leaning over the avocado. Yeah, so eggless, as Jerry said, eggless and healthy. So there is our Veggie Benedicts. So we've got avocado on the bottom. We have nice sliced tomato. We have the asparagus. We have the hollandaise sauce, some microgreens, a little bit of Spanish sweet smoked Spanish paprika, and a little bit of chives. And then for the side, we switch hands. We have the spicy fruit salad. So getting ready to serve this and stuff, we could actually, you could put the fruit on both sides. I won't do it because it's going to have a little bit too much liquid and it's going to make the actual English muffin a little bit too wet, which I don't want to do. But you could have that and serve that out, and you have a brunch. You have a dinner. You have a lunch. You have all this. This is something when we made up a whole bunch of these for the Taos event, people were actually keeping them and eating them. They were like, they would take two, put them together, and then they wrapped them up in like saran wrap. And then after they got back, and they said, this is what my lunch is going to be, because they would eat like double deckers of these because they were that good. And then they stole a lot of all the hollandaise sauce so they could use it for other things too. So that kind of happened, but that's all, that means it's good, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed. I will get all the March classes up, but otherwise Jerry is going to have, who knows, he might put it as a sandwich together and eat it too, but he's got two of the hollandaise, the Veggie Benedicts ready to go with the hollandaise sauce and the spicy fruit bowl that we get to enjoy for dinner tonight. Well, stay warm if you're in any of the country that's getting some of the snow. We just got it. Hopefully we'll get it for another week or two. So love you guys, and I will talk to you here in March. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.